now and again, I like to go back and take a look at the recipes I do so often that I'm doing them from memory and see how far I've strayed from the original. So today, I'm going back to the OG, and I'm gonna do it by the book. Thomas Keller's Chicken Brine. The one in this book here, Ad Hoc at Home. This is a fantastic brine for chicken. Way more than just salt and water. Herbs, lemon, garlic, honey. So let's start putting it together. So the first thing I noticed when redoing this recipe is that it calls for 2 gallons. I don't need 2 gallons, so I'm gonna have it, and I'm gonna start with even half of that, 8 cups. I'm gonna add some salt, and it's really good to dissolve this now because it's gonna be a lot harder once all this other stuff is in there. Some peppercorns and some honey. That also appreciates a little help getting dissolved. Some bay leaves. Now the recipe calls for an entire head of garlic cut in half. That's for 2 gallons, but I'm only making 1 gallon. So I use the whole head anyways because I can't help myself. A whole ton of parsley and thyme. A bunch of lemons. So now this is just like a tea. We're gonna bring it to a boil for 1 minute and then let it steep. So this has been resting a little bit. It's still a little hot. But as you remember, I only put in half the water. So I'm gonna get a bigger container and I'm gonna dump this into here. And then I'm gonna add 8 more cups of water. I put some ice in there because I'm really trying to cool this down. Now, I'm gonna put this in the fridge until I'm ready to put the chicken in. All right, let's cut up a chicken. I like to start with the wings. I like to come across right around here. And I'd probably take more breast than most people, but that makes the wing a little more substantial a piece. Then I get in that joint and it comes off just like that. And then with the legs, there's a bunch of flabby skin in here. And if you just cut that, and then get your middle finger right about there, and just pop that joint, and then it's a real easy cut through, just like that. Now I'm gonna leave the leg and the thigh together for grilling. That's just how I like to do it. I think the skin keeps the moisture in. Or when we're done grilling, I'm going to separate the leg and the thigh and also cut the breast in half. So really I'm doing a 6-piece. Many different ways to cut up a chicken. So now that I got the leg and the wings off, put these in our bin here. Then I'm gonna cut, this is the breasts, both the breasts. This is the back. I'm going to cut the back off. Now, much of it cuts with the knife real and easy. But at the end here, I think some kitchen shears, also called poultry shears, are really helpful. Save that for a stock later. So now the breast like this, I need to split this in half. There's a breastbone that runs right down here. You run the knife along one side to the other. And that finishes with the shears. And again, after I'm done grilling, I'll then split this in half again. But I think it just cooks way better as one piece. And this big piece of skin I'll cut off too. I'm not gonna put this in the brine just yet. The recipe calls for 12 hours in the brine. But like, what am I supposed to do? Get up at 3 in the morning and put it in? So I'm gonna put it in right before bed. And I'm probably gonna do it only for 10 hours, I think. So right before bed, I'll just dump the brine in here. And then in the morning, first thing when I wake up, I'm gonna take it out of the brine and put it on a wire rack. Then I'll put it in the fridge to kind of dry out until we're ready to grill. As I was looking through this book, I noticed a fun recipe for summer cream corn. So I think I'm gonna make the cream corn and then mix that in with the orzo, mozzarella balls, and tomato. We're going to want all the corn flavor we can get from these cobs. And the book has a great tip to use the edge of a spoon to eat the last little bits of corn and all the moisture, what it calls the milk. All good things start with a lot of butter, right? So after I get the corn going, I zest and halve some limes. Once the moisture from the corn milk and lime have been cooked off, I'm going to add cream. And this is when I add that zest back in and some cayenne. And then cook that down to whatever level of creamy consistency you're looking for. I don't want it too creamy. The orzo is going to bring some of its own moisture, and I prefer a drier pasta salad. Salt to taste, and chives. This is already incredible. I'm mixing the orzo in now because it will absorb flavors better when it's hot. But I'll mix the tomatoes and mozzarella in just before serving. I think it needs more chives. So once I've got the grill going, it's time to get to this chicken. All I'm gonna do is put a little bit of olive oil and some pepper on it. I'm gonna try something I saw Kenji do last week. I'm gonna use a sprig of rosemary as a brush. I actually like this pepper. Yeah. So now, off to the grill. I'm using mesquite chips to add a little grilled, smoky flavor. I let it heat up on high for 15 minutes, and then I turn it down to low. But every grill is different. You'll just have to figure out what works with your grill. I start with the breasts, skin side up. They're bigger and going to take more time. Then I add everything else 5 minutes later. This way, it's more likely that everything comes off at the same time. So after 5 minutes with skin side down, I'm gonna flip them back over, cook them another 10 to 15 minutes. But I'll start checking after about 10. An instant read thermometer is critical. There's just too many variables. Chickens vary in size. Grills are different. How long was it out of the fridge before it went on the grill? Just get a thermometer. For dark meat, I'm looking for at least 175. For the breasts, I'll shoot for 155, but if it's over that, fine too. One of the benefits of brining is it's much harder to dry it out. Beautiful, isn't it? And now that I've mixed in the mozzarella and the tomatoes, I think it needs even more chives. Now this is summer. A salad from the garden, grilling, and eating outside with the people you love as the hot day gives way to a cool night. We'll be doing a lot more of this.